Hi, Disneyland Navigator here. A little bit of a longer video here today. I want to talk a little bit about what some of the trends I've seen as you think about and prepare for your Disneyland trip. Some things to think about. I've done some videos on after dark events. So the month of May has a lot of events centered around Star Wars. So if that's something you're interested in, that's something additional on top of a regular pass that you'd have to purchase. Or if you just want to attend the park that night for that event, you can just purchase a ticket for that. Another thing that's going on right now, a lot of schools are doing spring break. So the lines in the park right now are extremely long. Especially during the week. I've noticed that during the week is busier than the weekends. Disney's trying to curve the crowds more to during the week. And the weekends, a little less crowds. So typically a lot of people would think, oh, during the week is better, but the weekends have been actually amazing. I've watched this last weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I can't believe some of the wait times. They're just really great. Now, it has been a crazy weather season for Southern California. They had intense rain and the temperatures haven't gone extremely warm. So that has definitely had an effect on crowds on certain days as well. So I've tried to keep an eye on that. So as you plan your trip, as long as you're more in the spring season, you have a higher chance of having rain just because it's been, again, such a wet year this year. So be aware of that. Plan for that with appropriate rain gear if you are going before the summer season, which I would say starts more in June, where the weather is going to be more traditional Southern California weather, but it will also get warmer as well, which at Disneyland can be a little bit tricky when it's warm. Disneyland doesn't have a whole lot of places to sit, so that's a little bit of a trick, something you have to kind of think about and navigate. So trying to find shade or places to sit and rest can be sometimes a little complicated, especially if you're in larger groups. Other things, so yeah, I think also just because of the weather, I think a lot of people have kind of rearranged their time of when they're going to Disneyland. So I'm expecting a very busy, traditionally summer season. June and July and even into August are very busy. Is a very busy season for Disneyland. And some of their annual pass holders don't have access to the park because that's part of the deal with their reservation systems. So that controls a lot more of the local crowds, but there's still plenty of people coming into the park during the summer months. So I would still expect heavy crowds, especially since people probably have had to rearrange their schedule watching the weather. So some of the closures that are coming up, I just did a correction video on Splash Mountain. We don't have a date for that, but we do have some upcoming dates for not Splash Mountain, the other mountains. Matterhorn Mountain, so they're doing, the track is solid, but the outside, it has some repairs that they're doing a little bit at a time. So that is something that you just need to be aware of, that Matterhorn will be down, but it's not a really solid set time how long it's going to be down. I do have some dates on that. I will post that in the comments on this video. I don't have it just off the top of my head. I should have had that prepared, so I apologize. And then Big Thunder Mountain, again, one of the mountains, is going to be closing, but it's a shorter refurbishment. They just need to close that for a week. So when they close down Big Thunder, the nice thing is when they do, it's a pretty quick turnaround on the refurbishment there. But it's a really critical ride to make sure it's safe and things. So it's always good when they're doing that. There's been ups and downs with Indiana Jones now being back and open. It's still not a perfect ride system. It still has breakdowns, but all the reports I hear is that it's going well. It's a much better ride. They've cleaned up some great things. So the last, before it closed for quite a few months, it was, if you know what the ride's potential is, it was kind of frustrating to ride and try to enjoy, even though it's still an amazing ride, even when it wasn't at like 65% running capacity. So that's exciting to have that ride back up. That's my wife's number one ride, is the Indiana Jones ride. So you can still go to Disneyland and have an amazing experience. Rise of the Resistance, which is easily the number one go-getter ride in the park still. Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway is open now and getting a lot of attention. With the ride closure of Indiana Jones, that's where most people were at. But again, when the crowds are just mediocre, the park is just amazing when you don't have major things closed. When you have Indiana Jones, Splash Mountain, Rise of the Resistance, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway open, Big Thunder, Matterhorn Space. When you got all those rides up and going to Disneyland, there's a lot of attention you're spreading with crowds and big attractions, e-ticket rides. Basically, I would call Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway a e-ticket ride, even though it's considered a dark ride. It's still going to draw a lot of attention because of it's still new. So how to navigate, when to go to each of the rides, I'm still kind of keeping an eye on that and watching that. Something you can do as you start planning your visit to the park is just download the app and just kind of play with it and just kind of watch that, and also watch the Southern California weather. Keep an eye on that. Anyways, these are just some of the thoughts I've had on the tip of my brain and want to share with my followers and subscribers. So enjoy, and we'll talk soon.